taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at the Shimakaze, specifically the 12-kilometer torpedoes on the Shimakaze, because if you recall, I have been doing some experimentation here with my Shimakaze to try and use the lowest range torpedoes, and I know that the 12-kilometer are the middle ones right now on the Shimakaze, but to try and use the lower range torpedoes to get the Shimakaze into a position where maybe it's more like a Minikaze, right? Where you've got maybe a kilometer and a half between detection range and the actual range of your torpedoes, giving the enemy as little time as possible to actually avoid your torpedoes. So that's what I've been trying to do here in the Shimakaze, getting some mixed results. Actually, after this battle, we'll see when I jump into port that I do have the lowest range torpedoes on the Shimakaze on lock. So I'm going to try those out later today and see what sort of results I get with them. Now the shorter range torpedoes, the shortest range torpedoes, they do do less damage, but they're faster than what you've got at the, I think it's 20 kilometers and 12 kilometers here. Now this is all without the commander ability that decreases your range of the torpedoes and increases the speed. So I haven't tried that one out yet. I want to sort of figure out what range of torpedoes I like in my Shimakaze, and then I'm going to go ahead and look at the commander abilities as well to see how that's going to fit in for me. But anyway, on Islands of Ice. Now you might notice the carrier captain on the enemy team is the Canadian. Now he is actually a member of my clan NGA. By the way, if you want to join NGA or look into NGA, the link to the website for NGA is in the video description below. It's always there. Anyway, now he's a pretty great carrier player, so there's obviously a little trash talking going on right now between he and I, but my plan here was not to go and try and kill him. No, it's simply just to stay away from his planes. I don't want to be spotted by his planes, because I know as soon as a Canadian spots me, he's going to kill me. I mean, it's either his priority is me or our aircraft carrier, so a little concerned about that. But anyway, I figure, we can see his planes up there in the north, right, just to the north of B. So that's sort of where I figured his planes were going to come anyway, so I wasn't going anywhere near that place. So I figured that I was going to try and sneak into B here and see what I can do about capping it. We do notice that there is an enemy already capping B, right? It's an enemy destroyer. I haven't spotted him, but I'm not willing to push further in to actually spot him and, maybe take the chance that I don't get spotted. Wasn't willing to do that. Main reason, you can see some of the ships there in the background. I don't see all of them, but I know that there are a whole lot more ships back there, right? I'm not willing to get spotted and, actually die here, because that's something I don't want to have happen. It happens a lot in my Shimakaze. As soon as people spot the Shimakaze, they want it gone. It's totally understandable. But, I'm trying to stay alive here so I can get through an actual battle and see what these torpedoes can do. I wasn't too impressed at the end of it, but anyway, launch off some torpedoes there. And enemy cruiser. Hopefully the enemy cruiser continues in a straight line so that those torpedoes will hit him and take him out. And you can see again that I'm turning back into B, right? B is almost capped now by the enemies. The enemies are also starting to cap C, and we don't have A as of yet. There's no one up there at A as of yet. There we go. The enemies just capped B, so I'm going to work my way back into B to try and at least contest the cap so that no points are being gained from this cap zone here. We can see some torpedoes. That's obviously from the enemy destroyer that took the point. Again, I don't see the enemy destroyer. Later on we will see the enemy destroyer though, and I think it was a Fubuki that was there. So I do get one torpedo hit there on the Kutsov, so that's not too bad. When I launched the torpedoes at the Kutsov though, he wasn't at full speed, so that kind of explains why I didn't get more torpedo hits there, but still, one torpedo hit, and it did a bunch of damage, right? A little over half its health is gone now, so that's pretty great. So we're still cruising around in B, still contesting the point here, avoiding the planes, right? Again, don't want to be spotted. I don't want Canadian to know what I am doing. And we're just going to stick around here in B, see what else I can maybe pick off here, or at least get a few more torpedo hits on, right? So I'm eyeing down the Iowa, but I'm not going to be able to hit him. He's got this island and is covering him here, so I'm going to have to wait for him to come around the island. Maybe ambush this player. That would be ideal. Now, one thing I'm not sure of is I know that with the new patch, Wargaming increased the distance that, there's the standard stock distance that a player can detect incoming torpedoes. So I'm not 100% sure what that is, but it became clear to me when I'm firing at this Iowa, because the Iowa doesn't see me. It doesn't see me at all, and unless this player has the captain ability, this Iowa was very, very lucky in just avoiding torpedoes altogether. There we go. We catch a quick glimpse of the Fubuki that has been taking B this entire time, right? So he's just been sitting there this entire time. You can see, once he got spotted, he is moving along here. Now I do get one torpedo hit on the Iowa. I only launched 2 of my launchers at him, right? I've got an 8-second reload now on the 3rd launcher, so I'm going to try and get another ambush here on this Iowa. I thought this was beautiful. Figured there'd be no way that this player could get out of running into these torpedoes, but totally wrong I was. So torpedoes are away. We can see the Iowa is coming around the mountain here, and I was looking and I was thinking, oh yes, you are gone, my friend. But look at this. The Iowa starts turning into the torpedoes and just barely makes it by without actually hitting one. That was so close. If I would have just angled them a little more, maybe assumed that the Iowa was going to turn and avoid the torpedoes, I might have actually hit him with one, but whatever, it doesn't matter. You can see that I do have some allies here in behind B, right, who are firing on the Iowa, and the Iowa just took a massive hit there from one of my allies, and so I start engaging this guy with guns to see if we can't get him gone. Whatever, one of my allies finishes him off and the Iowa is gone. So fantastic, we don't have to worry about the Iowa anymore. Now in the meantime, my team is capping C. So they're down there capping C, and I'm going to start working my way up to A. I want to cap A because I know that this point is relatively quiet. If we can keep this point, that might give us the advantage here for the victory. Now we do see an enemy Kagero. Just taking a look to see if I can get any torpedo hits on him. No, I cannot. I know the enemy Kagero is on its way for our aircraft carrier, but if you do notice on the mini-map, there are allied ships down there to potentially intercept the Kagero if need be, right? And I'm on my way to A. I wasn't willing to turn around, hunt down that Kagero, and just let the enemy continue to have A. My team really needs to cap this point to give us the advantage in overall caps, right? We'd have 2 of the 3, and then we can fight out over B, because B is going to be hotly contested here. And based on what we see on the mini-map, we can see as well that some of the enemy ships down there that may have been trying to contest C, it looks like for the most part that they're turning around and sort of, alright, we have A and B, we don't need to push C anymore, type thing. But that's what I'm going to try and change here. So I do have my speed boost on, right? Obviously I'm trying to get to A as quick as possible. The whole plan here is once I get into A, we're going to cap it, and then I'm not going to go around the long way to try and take out the aircraft carrier Canadian. No, I'm not even going to bother with that. I'm just going to shoot through the little channel, the space in between those 2 islands just below A, and then try and get myself back into B. That's my plan. Like I said, I wasn't concerned with actually trying to kill the Canadian. Now you do notice though on the minimap that my aircraft carrier is all over Canadian, yes. You can see that his strike planes are on its way to take out Canadian, so just hoping that those planes actually do their job and take out that aircraft carrier, because we don't need that aircraft carrier hanging around. I don't need Canadian telling me that he's going to kill me. Don't need it at all. So you can see the strike aircraft are now attacking Canadian, and obviously he's in wild, frantic maneuvers trying to avoid the incoming torpedoes and the incoming dive bombers. I almost have A at this point, right? There we go, Canadian dies. My aircraft carrier took him out. That was fantastic. And oh, did I have some encouraging words for Canadian after that. So there we go, I capped the A point. So just like I said, I'm going to shoot down this little channel and try and get myself back into B. See if we can't do something about this point. Now I do see the Fubuki, right? He quickly popped up there. We know that he's on this side of the island, so I'm going to be able to either get shots off at the Fubuki or even launch torpedoes off the Fubuki. So I'm just driving a straight line towards B, waiting for the Fubuki to pop up, and there he is. He pops up, so okay, I'm going to start, thinking about, do I want to launch torpedoes? Do I want to fire my guns? What I do decide is that I'm going to get closer. I don't want to tip tip the Fubuki off just yet that I'm here, because he doesn't see me. But as the ranges decrease, I am going to start firing upon him, just to try and get this guy gone, or at the very least maybe panic him a little, and then potentially run into one of my torpedoes. So there we go. The first shots are out. So now the Fubuki knows that I'm here. The Fubuki pops out of sight once again, but obviously because I've fired my guns, I am spotted now. So now I just need to be really careful that I don't engage, or I don't get engaged by any other ship other than the Fubuki, right? I'm still on full health, well, basically full health, so I really want to keep it that way, or at least stay alive. So shots start going out into the Fubuki, and I start landing some nice shots actually, which is pretty great. You can see I took out the Fubuki's engines, so that's not too bad at all. We're going to get some more shots off. Just being aware as well of where I am, right? I don't want to ground myself. The Fubuki repairs the damage to the engine, so I know that any other critical hits or fires that I set to this Fubuki, the player is not going to be able to repair it, because most likely it's going to be on cooldown. Now the Fubuki does pop smoke, but I'm not really deterred by this. I'm going to continue chasing this guy down. The only thing I need to be aware of is the fact that I don't know what the Fubuki, what the reload on the Fubuki, or where the Fubuki is in his reload, right? Obviously I know the reload time of the Fubuki, but I don't know, how close he is to reloading, or if the player has already reloaded and just waiting to fire torpedoes off at me. So that's something that I'm trying to keep in mind here. So Fubuki pops up once again, and again, I'm just going to engage him with my guns here as well. Not necessarily trying to get torpedoes off of the player, because he's on fairly low hit points, and besides that, I just wanted to get the Fubuki gone and then turn at a B. Right at this point, the Fubuki is really the only player in B that's contesting it. So there we go. I just took out the Fubuki and I start capping B. But you can see I have attracted the attention of some enemy ships in the background, specifically the Zhao. So I'm very afraid of that Zhao. Now I'm no longer spotted, which is great, but I do know that these ships, they pretty much know where I am, and the Zhao is getting fairly close now. So we're going to try and launch some torpedoes off the Zhao. Maybe if he pops up once again, might be able to do it, maybe get a few hits here. Now you do see also two enemy battleships off in the distance. They're way back there though, so I'm not concerned about those guys. I've got my own battleships on my team, right, that are going to be more concerned with those guys than I am, especially considering they're so far away from me. But at this point in time in the battle, right, we just capped B, sorry. So we have all 3 points. So now it's going to be totally a matter of just holding on to these 3 points, or keeping our 2 points and letting the enemy take 1 of the points, right? We are leading the enemy in ships destroyed so far, so that's pretty good. I launched my torpedoes off at the Zhao, thinking that that was a pretty good spread, right? I gave it 2 spreads, 10 torpedoes. Hopefully those are going to hit the Zhao, assuming the Zhao doesn't actually spot the torpedoes. So I'm trying to get away here as well, because again, I don't want to be spotted by the Zhao. The Zhao is a mean ship, and it could take me out without any real effort at all, so I'm trying to avoid this. So the Zhao dodges my first 2 spreads, so that sucks. So I'm going to launch a 3rd spread off. Hopefully these are actually going to hit the Zhao. No, the Zhao is turning away from the torpedoes already, so I don't know what's going on. Either the player has the what's it called, the captain ability that increases your range for spotting torpedoes, right? Either the player has that, or there is something funky with the way that these torpedoes are being spotted now. Because again, we do know that Wargaming did change the distance now that these torpedoes are going to be spotted from, in order to decrease your chances of getting taken out by random torpedoes coming at long range. So I don't know what happened there, but anyway, the Zhao avoided all my torpedoes. Now, unfortunately for the Zhao, player does ground himself, and very unfortunate indeed. So I mean, I've been putting shots into the Zhao because he has bigger concerns right now. He's duking out with one of my cruisers and some battleships. He's on very low health. He's burning, so we know that this player is going down. Just wondering if I'm going to get the kill here, because I did set fire to him. No, one of my allies gets it. That's fine, not a problem. Now we don't have to deal with the Zhao, so excellent. 4 enemy ships remaining to my 5 enemy ships, and importantly, we do still have our aircraft carrier. Now you can see down in the south we did lose the sea point, right? All of my allies down there in the south have either died or have retreated, and that's there's nothing wrong with that, with retreating from the sea point. We already have A, we already have B. It's not a requirement to have all 3 points in order to win. We just want to get to 1,000 points first, right? So you can see that I do have this Des Moines coming up. Now I thought this was a pretty crafty torpedo shot here, assuming the Des Moines continues forward. No, he doesn't continue forward. No, not at all. So those torpedoes are all going to miss, which sucks. But that's something that I've been finding with the Shimakaze, is that people just know that your torpedoes are in the water and they see them and avoid them. That, or they're just really good players. Well, really good at dodging torpedoes, that is. Now this player, my friendly Thotgor here, we've talked about Thotgors before, Thotgor drivers before, and for any Thotgor driver out there who is relatively good, I apologize, but I hate Thotgor drivers. In my opinion, the Thotgor drivers are the worst players in the game because they just suck. I have been torpedoed so many times by friendly Thotgors that it just makes me angry. I've never actually bought the Thotgor. I wanted to a while back, but I don't think I'm going to ever buy the Thotgor. Yeah, there he goes again. I don't think I'm ever going to buy an Thotgor just because I don't want to be associated with the type of people who I see playing the Thotgor. It is atrocious. Anyway, I narrowly avoided getting hit by those friendly torpedoes a second time. So now we can see the Des Moines, and the Des Moines is coming around this island, but you can obviously know he took a few maneuvers there, right, because he didn't hit any of my torpedoes. And I launch another spread off, only one though, because I assume that the Des Moines is not going to stay in a straight line. If he does, those torpedoes will get him, but if he doesn't, I wanted to have the third spread ready to shoot at him in case. And then I start spotting these enemies, right? They're working their way up the western side of the map, trying to get in behind B. So I launched torpedoes off at, I think it was the Baltimore that I was aiming at. So I launched my torpedoes off at that player. Hopefully we're going to hit him. Maybe something will happen here. We can see the Des Moines over there, but my Thotgor is engaging him, and then my Thotgor, being torpedo friendly or torpedo happy, obviously is launching torpedoes off at the Des Moines. Those are going to hit the Des Moines and kill him, so I don't need to waste any torpedoes or shots off at that Des Moines. It's just a matter now for me to try and get a few more torpedo hits. So friendly Thotgor is gone, so that is great. I no longer have to worry about being torpedoed by an ally, so fantastic. Good job, Des Moines. And we're going to line up some torpedoes here on this enemy battleship. We can see them off in the distance. The torpedoes I launched at the Baltimore have all missed because the Baltimore wasn't going at full speed, I guess. But luckily I do have a friendly Kagero here. He's on really low health, but my friendly Kagero did end up hitting the Baltimore with a few torpedoes, so that's good. So I do still have my torpedoes on the way for the enemy North Carolina. This Baltimore is on really low health, so I was debating whether or not I wanted to shoot my guns, but I decided, what the hell, I'm firing my guns. Look how low health he is. So whatever, we'll fire the guns. I might take a few hits here, but that's fine. The Baltimore starts returning fire to me, but obvious. I do end up setting the Baltimore on fire. He's very low health, so maybe one more hit here and I might actually take this player out. That would be fantastic. Shots go in. Ah, so close. That is my fire though that's burning the Baltimore, but one of my allies comes in, finishes him off, match is over, and we've won. So we'll take a look at the overall results here, but I mean, I just wanted to get this replay up here just to give you a sense of what I've been trying to do with the Shimakaze. I haven't been satisfied with the results as of yet, to be totally honest with you. I'm going to try the lower range torpedoes and see how those go, and then maybe revisit this. But I'll keep the experimentations going with the Shimakaze here just so I can figure out a good range of torpedoes, the good range and speed mix that I can get with these torpedoes to see, you know, what'll work most effectively for me here as well. And you can see, you know, we're back in port, and yeah, I was looking at the torpedoes. I didn't realize actually that I already had them unlocked, but there you can see some of the stats of the lower range torpedoes as well. And I don't think it's going to be that bad. Anyway, that is today's video. I do thank you very much for sticking around, watching it through. Leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. As always, I love reading those and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.